Okay, three things that you ask swimmers to focus on. Well, look, usually we do our workouts. Most swimmers do their workouts, or coaches do their workouts in the morning. So people arrive at the pool, they just got out of bed, they haven't even had their coffee yet. So they really don't want to think about too much, right? You try to get their warm-up done. Look, most coaches like to think how you do your warm-up is how you do the rest of the session. So let's do our warm-up, right? Number two, try to make the whole session, right? So, sometimes you can mentally talk yourself out of making a session, but if you know it's going to be 3 kilometres, well, make the 3 kilometres. If you know it's going to be a bit longer, an ocean swim back and forth, make the whole thing. And as well, holding technique. I mean, we don't want to harp, we're not like the school teachers, do this, do that. We'd like to impress upon them that stroke count. So really, do a good warm-up, make the session, and also think of technique whenever you can. Okay, now, ex-pool swimmers or ex-swimmers that might have swum competitive in high school, they've got some really good habits because they're taught as children, and the same in any sport. If you learn it as a child, normally you hold that skill right through. Now, when, say, mid-teenage people or young adults or adults take up swimming, the only way you're going to get better at swimming is actually being in the water. So drills are great, depending on what you call them. Now, there's an old saying, drills done 99% correct or 100% wrong. Drills have got to be done perfect. So take your time with the drills, whether it be catch-up, whether it be stroke count, whether it be bilateral breathing or any sort of drill that your coach installs upon you. Take your time to comprehend what he's actually saying or she's actually saying. Warm-ups for ocean swims. Now, they're going to have adrenaline there or excitement anyway, which is great. But look, the rule of thumb is if you were walking, just about before you get into a sweat, that feeling there of your body being warmed up. Now, the more you swim or the more you train, the more you need to warm up because your body will probably take 10 to 15 minutes to sort of, now especially as you're not a kid anymore, and as young adults or adults, they need to get their heart rate regular and probably do some oxygen depth breathing sprints just to get the heart rate moving up to about 110, 115, maybe 125 in the warm-up. Then it's not too much of a shock when you got that gun blast or your wave whistle to go when your event comes up. So yeah, you need 10 to 15 minutes, a bit of stretching, and as well, get in the water, get in the conditions, see what the water temperature's like. Well, biggest challenge for the first time ocean swimmer is number one, making that decision to enter the race. Putting pen to paper or pressing the button on the computer that says you're in it. Once you've done that, right, most of the ocean races now have a 1K sort of introduction race, which is great. Now, look, if the conditions don't look compatible to having a comfortable swim, pull out and wait for one to come up. If you're doing your first ocean time swim ever, pick your spot. Don't go in when there's a day that looks, look at the Fox Channel or look at the weather report the day before, see what the conditions are like, see what the lifeguard reports and what the beach conditions and the race director says, and then look, get in, enjoy it. Don't do it, if it's not fun, don't do it. Look, great spots, yeah. Obviously Bondi Beach lends itself because it's a 900-metre swim from point to point. The conditions sometimes are as flat as the billiard table, or they can be a little bit, challenging. So you've got both those options up there. Bondi is obviously number one. Look, I learned to swim in Clovelly Beach, going up and down the breakwater there, through the rocks. You get a bit of chop. Coogee Beach is also great. Maroubra's a little bit hairy. A lot of people like to swim in the harbour. Look, that many places. Manly's fantastic. It never stops. The Cold Classic did that race from Dee Why to Manly now. People are used to it. There's a whole core of serious ocean swimmers out there, and hopefully these people become one of them. Well, look, people, it's a bit like when you went to school and mum made you your favourite little breakfast and dinner. I mean, you don't want to change from anything you've been normally doing. There's no such thing as a secret meal. Carb loading's probably overrated. You want to be hungry, when you get on your race. You don't want to be feeling full. You don't want to be feeling starved either. Look, I think normal the night before. Don't have too much. Try to ease back on the red wine or the beer if you can. or the Chardonnay. But look, in that morning, have a little bit of breakfast, bit of muesli, so maybe some light toast. Make sure your fluid intake's up there, because you do sweat in the water. You think you don't. It's most important that you're feeling that day light. Best tip I can do is prepare yourself with the week leading up to it. Do the training, enter 4 or 5 races a year or more if you want. There's some great little sites on, like Ocean Swims site's fantastic, gives you all the races. There's a race one you can do every weekend. Pick your favourite locations, get some friends, do a relay. There's some great relays in the races now, and just enjoy it. So, proudest moment, geez, there's been many. You know, as an ex-competitor, you have different sort of memories, but when you're coaching, it's a bit like being a parent, really. You know, they're your kids out there and they're swimming and doing ocean races. Probably the proudest is when people that have done their first ocean race and complete it, and the satisfaction on their face and their family watching them do it, that's pretty hard to beat.